Yo, this might be one of the craziest twists in hip-hop news right now.
Hey, the big Shiesty.
Because fans are going absolutely crazy after reports surfaced that an FBI agent testified under oath that Gucci Mane himself gave a statement to Dallas police about what allegedly happened inside the studio during that January 10th, 2026 incident. And the part that really sent the internet into a frenzy? Pooh Shiesty was reportedly seen shaking his head in disbelief while sitting in court as the testimony was being read. The moment social media saw that, people immediately started asking one question. Did Gucci Mane just tell on his own artist? Now let's slow this down because this story is getting bigger than just one viral screenshot. Now, according to reports surrounding the federal case, the Department of Justice alleges that what happened inside of Luminous Studios in far north Dallas was not just some regular music industry disagreement. Prosecutors are even going as far as saying that this was an alleged kidnapping and robbery incident tied to a contract dispute. That right there is what makes this story hit so hard, because this involves Pooh Shiesty, Big 30, Gucci Mane, and what appears to be a full federal investigation. Now, according to the testimony cited by multiple media platforms, FBI agent Hansen allegedly testified that Gucci Mane told Dallas police and his own security that they had been outgunned during the incident.
So we had a bond hearing today and a PC hearing today. I think that the relevant things that were said today that I thought were fascinating were that it took 3 months to build a case. And I think the reason for that was because the statements that were given on the evening that this occurred were very questionable. I think the way that the statements were made, what allegedly was witnessed and what wasn't witnessed, I think gave great pause to the FBI. The FBI doesn't take 3 months to arrest someone if they believe everything that was said on the night that it occurred. They were involved the first night and then nothing happened for 3 months. In addition to that I thought was quite embarrassing was that an FBI agent says they don't have the resources to keep their eye on an individual. This is allegedly an individual that committed a crime that they then didn't watch to see if the guns were present, if the jewelry was present. And what didn't we hear today? What we didn't hear today is there is no contract, this mystery contract. They have no contract. They have no video of this alleged signing of a contract. They have no guns. They have no jewelry. They have none of that physical evidence. What they have is they have allegedly 5 individuals, one of them being a very well-known individual that is allegedly cooperating with the government and making these allegations against my client and many more. I'm going to take like 1 or 2 questions and then we're going to scoot.
You're essentially arguing they've got only a he said kind of case. No evidence.
Correct. Yeah, it's very fair. I think that this is it's a he said type of case. I mean, obviously there's 5 individuals on one side. What we're missing are the other people that were present in the room, right? The owner of the studio who says he didn't hear anything or see anything. The way they leave the studio where no one is in concert with anybody else, no one's arguing with anyone else. One of the individuals says, "Hey, can I get my watches back?" Like, the story is quite unusual. And I think that the FBI knew that. I think the investigators knew that it was unusual. And I think that's why it took so long to make the arrest.
What is your response to the judge saying that, your client still violated the terms of his ankle monitor location?
Sure. Those are all things that are going to be, flushed out. The fact is that he was allowed to be in certain areas at certain times. That really wasn't an argument for today. I wasn't really even going to make that argument. My main thrust of today was to really push on the evidence and see exactly what they had and when they had. How about this? How about the individual who wrote the complaint, who actually drafted the complaint, who was sitting in the courtroom, who's only been an FBI agent for 4 years, does not take the stand. They put someone else on to say what she wrote in her own complaint when she's sitting in the courtroom. And that's done quite often in gamesmanship because they don't want to put a rookie on the stand.
We're outside federal court here in downtown Dallas for an update on the case that involves the rapper known as Pooh Shiesty, Lontrell Williams Jr. After about a 1-hour probable cause hearing in federal court in downtown Dallas, he has been ordered held. The judge deciding that, yes, there is probable cause that he was involved in the crimes that have been alleged by the FBI. His defense attorneys argued the FBI does not have the guns they mentioned. They do not have the jewelry that they mentioned that was allegedly stolen. They do not have the contract that they say that he was forcing the other rapper known as Gucci Mane, to sign to get Pooh Shiesty, the other rapper, out of his contract. But the judge said the evidence is heavy that he was involved in this, that he does have a lengthy criminal history, including gun violations before. So at this point, Lontrell Williams Jr. is being held in federal custody pending his next court date. We'll have other updates throughout the day.
Then Big 30's name get pulled into the mix. Now social media is really going crazy because fans are starting resurfacing clips, old 1017 footage, and even alleged yard footage trying to connect the entire story together.
Told y'all, Boost, ain't nobody like shit like that.
Once Big 30 became part of the online conversation, the narrative shifted from just Pooh Shiesty to what people are now calling a broader 1017 fallout.
The interesting thing that we've seen in the last couple of days is that Gucci Mane has come out publicly and said that he's not cooperating with the government.
And it is worth noting that last week we did hear from an FBI agent who said that he had not heard from Gucci Mane either. He also noted that there were no working video cameras inside this recording studio at the time of this incident. Darcy.
People are now asking if this is the final collapse of what is one of the most talked about artist-label relationships in recent years. Honestly, that might be the part that hits the hardest, because just a short while ago, fans were talking about Pooh Shiesty's return. People were waiting on new music, new visuals, and what many thought was going to be a start of a real comeback run. Instead, the entire conversation has now shifted.
I ain't gonna tell nobody, not even the police. I don't believe in none of that. The only thing I believe in is don't tell the police.
Now is federal custody, courtroom testimony, Gucci's man name being brought up, and one viral moment of Pooh Shiesty shaking his head that now has fans and the whole internet talking. Fans are saying that Gucci did what any victim would do if prosecutors are alleging he was directly involved in the incident. Others are saying that this officially marks the end of 1017 relationship and the trust between artists and labels. Either way, this story is far from over, because if more courtroom detail continues to come out, this could easily become one of the biggest hip-hop legal stories of the year. And let's be real, the image of Pooh Shiesty sitting there in disbelief may end up being the defining moment of this entire case. Was that frustration, shock, disappointment, or was that realization that everything has changed? That's the question fans are debating right now. For now, Pooh Shiesty remains detained pending the next stage of the federal case, and all eyes are on what happens next with Big 30, the alleged contract dispute, and Gucci's man involvement in the testimony. Now, the internet has officially picked sides, but the courts will decide the facts. Y'all let me know in the comments. Did Gucci Man simply act as an alleged victim giving a statement, or do fans have a reason to feel the way they do? Because this one is definitely not over.